All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Run with the Wind, episode 5.
Last episode was so good.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was fantastic. Prince, you were wonderful.
And Haiji, you're so freaking good.
Yep.
Oh.
And now...
And Kurahara, sorry, you guys name wrong for a second there.
But your feet are feeling light.
Like... Do you see these people around you?
Yep.
This is going to be amazing, dude. This is going to be so good.
And now we have a proper rivalry.
I mean...
the Shinji looking, like probably...
The second we saw him, though, in the previous episode before that even, we were like,
Definitely rival, but the question is good rival or bad rival, you know? Like, because sometimes it's a bit blurred.
It is a bit blurred,
but I think this is definitely going to be a good rival.
Especially when we get inside Kurahara's head and we see what's going on in there.
Yeah.
It's... Yeah. Oh, it's good, but it's tough, man.
Yep.
Good luck, man. Godspeed,
Indeed.
Yeah.
Run with the wind.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, that was a funny episode.
That was a funny episode.
Prince was just plastered all over the episode with his comedy, and oh my god, the musings, the little just wonderings of which one of us is truly free?
Yeah, right. That was excellent. Like I absolutely loved it. As far because with all the running and everything, and that can get pretty serious at times.
Yes.
Having some comedy in there is very much appreciated. And
very much so.
Prince, Prince is my favorite comic relief character in this show. He's just he's so much fun.
He's just set up in all the best possible ways to do the comedy well, and then he's also the one that we can relate to quite a bit because he is the otaku with the serious addiction to the medium of manga and anime because of his the state of his room,
and is not exactly in the kind of shape to be running 20 kilometers. Yeah.
Thus, even the 5 kilometer stuff or the 3 kilometer stuff or whatever, he's spent after that. Which I would love for them maybe in the next few episodes or so to use Prince actually as a discussion as to how a skinny person should eat when they're running. Because one of the things that's rather easy to kind of understand if you're a person that's a little bit overweight is you actually have a clearer path with how you should eat
if you lose weight, you will run faster, kind of a thing.
Right. So therefore, eat in such a way that you complement your abilities to run, so you have energy, but
keep the calories low.
Just keep the calories low. But with a small person, a frailer person, or someone who is just skinny in general, is a little bit underweight, you don't want to just cut food out because
you need to build up the leg muscles.
You need to build up the muscles, but you also need to have the food that you will then burn to use for energy because you don't have enough body fat to use for energy in that case is there. So Prince stuff I'm looking forward to. But King. Yeah, the trivia wizard who apparently might be so good at trivia that he slacked on a couple other things.
Potentially, but we've got a situation where real life is basically slapping him upside the head, right?
God, that sucks.
It really does suck because, especially since this isn't something that he really wanted to do in the first place.
Right.
It was someone else's dream, right? And yes, Haiji is great, and we love him, Right. And I'm waiting for Haiji to make the point that, hey, if you run the Ekiden, that's something that might, companies might be interested in.
That was something that was brought up earlier.
That's an X factor, like even if your grades aren't necessarily the best, you have the discipline to run the Ekiden. Yeah. They'll take notice. They'll be like, okay, here's a disciplined hard worker.
That's unique. At the very least, we can count on some aspects of your character that make up for the fact that your numbers
don't quite match up with some of the other people.
Don't quite go up to the top 2% or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is a very competitive sport, if you will, with regards to uni and exiting uni and getting into the workforce. It's not just what kind of stuff you pick with regards to studying in uni, but it's your performance and then also a lot of the things that you do during those years.
Yeah.
Because I know lots of people with degrees, and this is something that I might be a little bit more of an issue with just kind of the current age in specifically the U.S. with regards to people shifting away from
the
degrees,
traditional sort of...
Yeah, degrees outside STEM, basically. So in this regard here, we don't know, at least I'm not sure if we were told, we might have been told actually what
his
King's
major
degree or major was focused in, because there were a couple people that they gave focus to in that regard.
Right, but it wasn't something like law or or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll
I could see it maybe being like an engineering thing or something like that.
But he had math notes, it seemed like there, which was weird because it was in a job fair. So I'm like, okay, was he learning from someone that was setting up some kind of job related to engineering?
Who knows?
Like that?
Yeah,
math is pretty important. But
having those grades for something really technical.
Yeah, there's another thing that was brought up here that I thought was kind of cool, and that's Shindo, King's roommate, was the other person that kind of got a little bit of extra focus here. He's starting to take this rather seriously. And it was because of his drunk moment of like, I thought like if I just told my parents that I'm doing this, it'd be great. But like, I want to beat that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do this for me. Like, this is... I love these kinds of moments. Like oh man, it's so special when you see someone in your house kind of situation like this, and exactly, kind of have their thing where they're like, guys, I'm gonna do this thing, and you're like, yeah,
you go. I hope you remember this when you wake up tomorrow.
Right, exactly. We would do this with the guys that I was with in my house in school. There were 13 or 12 of us, and then one in an adjoining kind of little shed, basically. And whenever one of them was like, all right, I'm gonna ask her out, we're like, yeah, we all we're like, and then someone is like, fucking finally, like from the like other room, like,
wow.
They're like, God, if I have to deal with you like inviting her over and like you guys still not like having this be a thing, and then you'd have like the one guy that's like, all right, I'm gonna lose weight, and we're like, yeah, like, and we all just kind of come around him, and then we like give him a bunch of drinks or something. That was the best part. But oh my God, the fun stories of guys just kind of having camaraderie, camaraderie around. Can I not speak right now?
Camaraderie.
That is how you say it.
Yeah.
Around a thing that someone else's passion just kind of fires you up. But even if you're like Yuki and you're like, nah, I'm not gonna do anything about this.
Oh yeah,
you're still like asking questions on the sidelines. Like,
I absolutely resonate with Yuki on a rather deep level, because it's I don't have to be doing this. You're telling me I don't have to do this. But then there's the whole thing of, you're doing it though. Oh, damn it. All right.
And then asking the guy who's like kind of your senpai in that regard, even though
senpai in title only, really.
Right. Yeah.
What gives?
Why? Why are you the
big
Mr.
Anderson?
Why? Yeah. And apparently, it makes him feel clean.
Right. Which is a great term to use for the the Nico-chan senpai, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's like I totally get it from that regard, and running does have that kind of effect just in general. Like you go for a run, and afterwards, like, yes, you might be dying, but you definitely also feel like calibrated, kind of like, I don't know, like whenever I would do like little bits of cardio after a workout, it always was just like, okay, all right, yeah, I'm even if I was exhausted because of the workout itself, I would be somehow less exhausted because of the cardio. Like, I don't know. But so I really like that description of it, and how Yuki's still just like that doesn't...
It's like, that's it? That's the
it.
reason?
I don't get it. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I love that he communicated, I believe, the full truth of why he likes it and why he's doing this, because he did say it's for his health.
Yep.
But the reason why he keeps doing it, why he enjoys it, is that. And the fact that he didn't get it, like Yuki was told the actual reason, and it didn't make sense to him. this is something I think that is fundamental about these types of shows, especially in anime, where they can actually get at this kind of stuff from a lot of different characters' perspectives, which I think is more of an anime thing in general, just to have ridiculously large casts, surrounding
because
a topic.
Right.
You know?
Because one of the things that you can do in anime that's a lot harder to do in live action is you can color code your characters, whether that's literally or figuratively, because you can make designs and design them from the ground up and stuff. So
they stand out a lot more.
It's way easier to have them stand out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Game of Thrones had that issue where there are so many characters' names and all that.
How do you remember them all?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But in this case here, we have a character in Nico-chan that's basically like, no, I do this because of a simple little reason. And Haiji is pushing all these people because of his reason, which is not as
it's selfish.
Communicated, really.
It's sure, right.
Well, not everyone knows, really. Like, we don't even fully know exactly why.
We know it's his dream, but why is it his dream?
Why is it his dream? Right.
You don't just decide to do something like this because why not?
Right. And I think what's tying this all together in the episode is that Kakeru, and I knew had his name was Kakeru for a reason, even though Kurahara is also, I would say, his last name, I believe.
Right. It's his
full...
The two different names, and, do you refer them to the last name or the first name based on the relationship with the person?
Whatever. They're calling him Kakeru, so it's what we'll call him. But he wants to be a better communicator, a better speaker.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What that reminds me of is that Haiji is having issues, in some ways, communicating how big of a deal this is, because to everyone else, it's got varying levels of
Sure, it's a way to get girls or,
Yeah, and he has to communicate to them specifically why it's important. He did that in episode 2, but that's not something that's just going to last forever or something like that for every single, person in the house.
Yeah. He was able to motivate them with their own individual ways, whether it was, the power of the boner or just, hey, here's some cardboard boxes, get running. But as for him specifically, who knows? Because, yes, they have their motivation for it, but I think it's more because they care about Haiji. They care about Haiji, and they're attached to Haiji, they're connected to Haiji, and because they can tell that he's really passionate about it, they're sort of like, oh, okay, yeah, I can be passionate about it too, and I'll use some excuse like, getting healthy or getting girls or
that's
whatever.
The independency coming
right,
in.
That's the independency thing, right?
I think the initial bit was what you're talking about,
and now they're starting to figure it out for themselves.
Exactly, which means that all the ones that don't really want to do it that much are then going to be independent and move away from it.
Right.
So the idea then that we can have the story shift to being about how do you communicate your passion, like that's something that bridges all these characters
for a
together.
Sports show to focus on,
That's an amazing thing to focus on, because I've tried to share people. I can't speak. See, communicating's hard. I love Ultimate Frisbee so much. I don't really like running as much as I like Ultimate Frisbee.
Sure.
Running is something that is a byproduct of playing Ultimate Frisbee.
Yeah, you got to do it to play.
Right. But by doing Ultimate Frisbee, I fall in love with running all over again. Thus, when I'm communicating to people my passion, I usually share not Ultimate Frisbee. I share with running specifically because there's more people that just run out there than play Ultimate Frisbee.
Ultimate Frisbee more specific, yeah.
Right. So I kind of have to, like Prince was even doing with dog, like go down to their level and be like, I have to actually speak in such a way that they'll understand it.
Oh, man.
And I don't know. I think this episode kind of set up a cool little arc that they can focus on that. Is how do you communicate your passion in a way not only that you are actually truthfully sharing what you're wanting to communicate, but communicate in such a way that not only will they hear you, but they'll understand you.
Yes, and especially in this situation where their dreams are contingent upon the cooperation of the people around them.
Yes.
Because there isn't an 11th person that they could turn to, as far as we know, that they could have run with them instead. No. Right? So they really do need King to run with them.
Yeah, just as much as they need Prince to run with them.
Exactly, right. Yeah. And Prince is, more of the obvious one of like, okay, how do we get this guy up to snuff?
Yeah.
He could very easily be something where he's doing like the qualifying race for the qualifier, like right before the qualifier happens, just to be like, all right, I think I can do it now. I can make it. But for King, is that actually going to work out?
Yeah, I would love to have the show slow its pace down a little bit and get into the nitty-gritty of a bunch of these characters and see what it is really that gets them excited. Because I think you don't really know a character until you know at least one of their flaws and one of the things that excites them.
Okay.
And
sure.
Right now, I think we know what a little bit of King's flaws are. Sakaguchi Yohei.
Yeah.
They mentioned that he really liked trivia, and that was a thing that he was really passionate about. It was something that he was good at. But what we saw here was someone that was afraid, I would say.
Afraid and bitter.
Yeah. He was getting a little
fear
petty.
Leads to anger, like
well, right. But what we saw him do, was that kind of stuff displayed in some petty actions and stuff and words.
And I gotta say, all that free time. God, I hate those comments.
Oh my God.
So there was a point where someone fairly close to me, when I was writing battle lines, it was very much a thing of like, I have to keep myself motivated somehow to actually do this because this is crazy, right? I've never done this before. It's scary, all of that, right? So I started posting to Facebook fairly regularly with just like status updates, right? Of like, okay, this is what I was able to get done today. And I knew that most people didn't really care. They might be sort of vaguely interested of like, oh, good for you. Jacob's actually doing that thing that he always wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
But there came a point where I actually, I did it, right? And I was like, all right, I got like, one of the drafts done, and it took an insane amount of work, right?
Yeah.
And this was why, and someone commented of, wow, I would love to have a heaping scoop of your spare time and a little bit of your motivation, and it was like,
that's insulting.
It was. During this time, I was working 60 plus hours a week and walking to and from work every week, while at the same time, writing, 10,000 words a week or whatever it was, right? And I told them as such, but it's like that, but that hurt. Like, and that, like that was one of those things where, and it's just this idle little comment, right? I know for a fact that person didn't think much of it, right?
No.
And King here didn't think much of it either, right?
I mean, he chose the words a little bit more pettily.
Yes. It was something that came from a place of hurt, worry, whatever you want to call it, right? Because he's in a rough situation right now. The fact that he's got just one more year after this, and so far, everyone's kind of turning him down. Like that's grades are not easy to change after the first couple years, right? Because you get one good grade in a class.
Diminishing returns.
Diminishing returns.
Not actually, like going at 100%.
Yep. It's like that's great. Still not necessarily gonna hit that magic number, right? So I totally feel for the guy, and but oh my God,
I just want to bring up that the one thing that we know about his past is that he was really into trivia. So this is a guy that sits around and watches a lot of TV. And if he's being told that his grades are his school like numbers and stuff are not special, so he's not getting into the fair and stuff like that, unfortunately, that's on him.
Right, and that's why. Well, and that's the thing, because people don't make comments like that because of something that someone else does.
Yes.
They make comments because someone else does something that reminds them of what they didn't do.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh, you just well said.
So,
exactly.
So there's a, you remember that line from Avengers where Loki's like, "You crave subjugation, right? Is this not your natural state?" I don't really like Loki too much as a character, but the reason why that line I think is important is because with when we're just following the orders of someone else, then there is no responsibility, right? Because it's their responsibility. That's one of the reasons that I think it's easier for a lot of these characters to just follow Haiji, and that's why the independence is important, right?
Very
because
important.
now they're starting to take responsibility for their
way
own
to go,
progress
Shindo.
and working towards the Ekiden, right?
Yeah, it was when Musa like saw him taking the notes. He was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
wait a
yeah. Oh,
minute.
hold on. Yeah, and then
you weren't
going
asked
out
to do that,
right? And jogging like in the evening and everything after they I think already ran twice that day.
Yeah,
you know, it's like okay, that's way to go, right? And he gets some other people to go with him because they're inspired by that, right? But you know, oh yeah, King's in this situation, and you know, whether it was because of just really earnest effort that wasn't enough, or because he slacked off, or who knows?
Who knows?
His grades aren't up to the snuff that he would want them to be, and that the companies would want them to be, and as a result, he's not getting.
Yeah.
He's not getting, you know, taken to the next stage of the, you know, the applications or whatever, right?
Yeah, because there's all kinds of things where you could say that the company is just one that's, you know, not a thing that'll work and stuff. But I believe that was the Dream Fair director. That was like one of the people in charge of the, not Dream Fair, the Job Fair situation. There was the word dream was used in the email that he got there. Let me go and find it here.
At the very least, he was focusing enough on it that either he was waiting for this message to show up and then it was a negative one, or
let me look at the thing here.
Potentially he got multiple no's. Because when you go to a job fair, you don't just go to a job fair and like just apply to one to one place.
Yeah, it says from Dream Top Company Recruiter. So, Gotcha. Regarding initial screening results, dear Mr. Sakaguchi Yohei, thank you for applying for a position with our business department. Unfortunately, your school records... Oh, right, yeah, he was going for a business degree.
That's right, yeah.
Unfortunately, your school records did not pass our screening this time. Good luck with your future endeavors. Please understand that we cannot answer any questions regarding the screening results. Dream Top Company Recruiter.
Yep.
So, he did not get... in with that specific thing there.
And I mean, business...
And we see that it is not something based on his lack of effort to put himself out there with regards to applications.
Right.
We see strewn all over his bed tons of pamphlets that are probably tied to applications where he sent a bunch of them out.
And that's probably what makes it feel even worse, because also with, you know, like a business major is not a that's not like a casual major, right? I'm sure that there are some people that do it casually, but that is the
It's a general major, but
it's a general major, but it you know, from my perception of it at least, it's very much a
broadly applicable.
Broadly applicable. I mean, to do business. You know, pun intended, right?
Yeah.
And but nope. Your hard efforts are deemed not enough. You have been weighed, you have been measured, and found wanting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be too happy about that either.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Right. And I think what he's looking at here is he's like, oh, well, I'll just keep trying. That's fine. But wait a minute.
That means I can't do this other thing.
I cannot do this other thing then.
And that is, like let's be real. That's commendable. He doesn't have to do running. It's not his. It's not his responsibility to make Haiji's dream come true.
True.
Right.
True.
That's up to them.
Yeah.
You know, the comment that he made of you guys just have a bunch of free time and stuff. It's like, okay, dude, hold on now. But
yeah, because all the time you're spending here worrying about this thing here could be spent making more applications.
Yeah, there's a part of me that actually wants King to not be a part of the Ekiden. That wants him to basically like fully resolve within himself of, okay, I need to buckle down. Let's do this. And then he does his own thing. Maybe he goes a separate way. A new character's introduced that's their 10th member. Who knows how it would go. But And then that could be a way that it ends up happening, because he doesn't need to do this.
Yeah, thankfully with the linear narrative focus here and the fact that we're getting lots of individual focus of the characters from episode to episode, I really see there being some really cool ways they could develop each character as they choose to put the focus on them. Like with what they showed here with Nico-chan, in that he is doing late night work with software development, and that is just coding. I recognize the interface there. He's just straight up coding.
Being a coding monkey, just all right, let's
go.
Let's turn this crank. Yeah, exactly.
So where Yuki's like, well, I don't get it. Like
you're doing this and still waking up
to do this like
really early to run. Like, what's going on? The effort that you're putting out in order to do this thing that seems like it should be fairly trivial as far as doing this specifically, it doesn't balance out.
Right.
What's going on?
Yeah, Yuki's smart in observing, and he's like, I don't see the math adding up here.
Yeah.
You need to tell me what's the equation going on internally, because there must be something. And he's right, there is something.
Yep.
And he gets told it at the end of the episode. And so we need to know what is King's equation? What's his internal equation looking like right now?
And I think that because Haiji
communicate that.
He needs to be able to communicate that, and because Haiji is so perceptive with how people tick,
True.
I think he'll be able to meet King where he's at and
adapt
adapt and be like, hey, dude,
you need help?
You need help?
Yeah. You want me to come alongside you and help you get a job set up so that you can focus on running?
Right, exactly. I'll help you with taking care of the other stuff because, I don't need the practice as much as, most of the other people.
Will you take responsibility for my future? That line. He's like, sure, I'll help. Yeah.
Yeah, like Haiji is crazy enough that I could see him actually being like, all right. But with conditions. Right. Yeah. Will you commit to this program?
Right. He's totally Griffith in a lot of ways.
Oh,
and
definitely.
I love the idea that we are starting to see the Band of the Hawk have their little moments of doubting their paragon of a leader here.
Yeah, without that, you can't have true victory.
Exactly. And that struggle will be so good. Also, Kakeru having lots of little moments of just like, is this what running is about? Wait a minute.
Yeah,
it is a competitive sport, but what is running about? Like, what is it? Oh. Yeah. And I can't wait for this, because this is the thing that made me want to watch the show. When it said Run with the Wind is the name of the anime, it's not Run Like the Wind.
It's Run with the Wind.
It's Run with the Wind.
Paint with all the colors of the wind. Yeah.
It is literally about just the feeling of soaring past and through and beyond everything. That is what running is about. It's that moment of elation where you basically transcend your mortal body and just go beyond. It's something that I hope that every character has some kind of unique angle or experience regarding this thing. And that bit that they touched on with Nico Chan Senpai, and then also potentially with Haiji being like, well, wait a minute. Is it about being chosen and then participating at levels and stuff, or is it about something else?
And, there was that whole thing of like, hey, it's written all on your face. You haven't had your fill yet. So there's that. But then also with King, one of the weird things about physical exercise is that even though it does take up a lot of time and energy, weirdly enough, it's fairly common that when you do that, it actually makes it seem like you have more time and energy because your body gets regulated, so you actually end up having more energy even though you're spending a lot of it. But then also, you can get focused because you're like, I did something really productive and awesome. I'm on a winning streak. I'm going to get more wins under my belt, right? And then even if you have less time left in your day, you kind of just use it more effectively.
Yeah.
So maybe that could happen with King. Who knows?
But y'all, it's a good episode, and thank you so much for watching the episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yes, so the info's down in the description, but basically we do a bunch of cool stuff on the weekdays at 3 p.m. Pacific time, but for the gaming stuff...
I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077 on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Right, and then I'm playing Persona 4 Golden on Thursdays.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.